Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Data Science with Harshit. So this video is not part of the Getting Started series that I'm running. So today we are going to build something. We're going to work on a small project. So the usual workflow of a data analyst starts from exploratory phase and goes up till the communication of the results or their analysis. And as you all know, we are all going through some really hard and trying times due to the novel coronavirus outbreak, which has held us captives in our homes. So today we're going to look at some COVID-19 data sets. We're going to gather the data from different data repositories. We're going to prepare the data, visualize it using some interactive plots, and then convert our Jupyter Notebook into standalone web application or dashboard. So one of the best ways to convey your results is using standalone dashboards because your non-technical readers, the management is not really interested in looking at your code. So we're going to build a dashboard out of our Jupyter Notebook. So without any further ado, let's get started. So I have my Jupyter Notebook server running, and here is my Jupyter Notebook COVID-19 analysis. So I have imported the packages, the important ones right now, pandas and numpy, and we're going to import the libraries as we're going to need. So I've collected the data from the 2019 novel coronavirus COVID-19, the John Hopkins data repository. Here inside this folder, under the time series directory, you can find all the data sets. So here I have the death cases stored in the death_df data frame. I'm reading the file, the raw file from the data repository, the COVID death cases global.csv, then reading the confirmed cases from confirmed_global.csv and reading from the recovered cases from the recovered file. Then I have the country_df, which contains cases recovered, confirmed, death cases of each country. Then I am going to take a brief look at each of these data frames. So if you take a look at death_df, it contains death cases of each day starting from 22nd of January up till 29th of March with the latitude and longitude of each province, state and country region. Now similar is the structure for confirmed_df as well as recovered data frame. Then I have the country data frame, which contains confirmed, death, recovered, active cases for each country. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to clean the data. So for cleaning, I am first going to rename our columns. So data cleaning, renaming simply. So firstly, I am going to convert all the columns to lowercase str.lower. Now using the map function, this function takes a function that you need to apply to a particular list elements. So the list elements here is going to be country df.columns. So in case you want to see how this works, so country.df. Now if you want to look at columns, yeah, so you see this is C capital, R capital. Now all of them have been converted to lower cases. Now let's do this for all the data frames. So we have done the same for all. So this is how it looks like now. So now I want to change the province/state and country/region into something simple. So let's do one thing, confirmed_df equals confirmed df dot rename. There's a rename function inside for data frame. It takes columns as dict, and I can provide that I want to change my province, which has been converted to lowercase, to simply state, and I want to convert my country/region to simply country. do that for all the data frames and run it. Awesome. So now that we have changed, basically prepared the data, changed a few column names, renamed them, converted them into lowercase so that it becomes really easy for us to use. So we see that the country data frame here is in alphabetical order. Now let's find out which one are the worst hit countries. So let's sort the data. Sorted underscore country underscore df. Then I'm going to use the country df, use the sort values function, and then pass in the confirmed cases column. So I have this confirmed column which has now been converted into lowercase confirmed, and then I am looking for descending order. Then I want to look at, let's say, the first 5 rows. Let's run this and find out like what do we have. So you can see that the worst hit country is US right now, and then Italy, then we have Spain, China, Germany. So this is currently the scenario. Now we're concerned with confirmed death and recovered column. So we can use the style attribute of the data frame to highlight these columns. So let's quickly write a function. So this is like a highlights underscore call function, and what it does is basically you define the styling rules here. So background color red becomes R, and then similarly you can define for, let's say, purple becomes P. Copy paste this, and G becomes for gray, let's say. So these are the rules. Let's create a temp data frame. Now this is pd dot frame, then this is a random index is equal to x dot index. This basically takes a column x, and then columns becomes x dot columns. So this is basically the data frame that we are going to apply to. So the values are going to come from there. Temp underscore df I need, so to highlight the confirmed column, so you can reach the column using the ilock function. So this method basically first I need all the rows, and so this column means all the rows, and then I want to get to the fourth column. So this is the first, second, third, 0, 1, 2, 3. The confirmed is the fourth column, and I mentioned that this should be confirmed is, let's say, P, and then this is for death cases. I want 4, 5, and 6. Death is, let's say, red, and this is for gray. And then I can write another function, or let's quickly check how this is going to look. So sorted underscore country dot d underscore df dot style dot apply, and I pass on this function that I've written, highlight call, and then pass on access equals none. So if I run this now, it is giving me an error. Okay, I forgot to return the data frame, so this data frame needs to be returned. Yeah, so now if I run this, so you can see that confirmed death, so these are now highlighted. So let's start off with data visualization now. Let's plot some data. So for plotting, we're going to use Plotly. So this is the documentation page where you can find some really good examples to look through. And firstly, you would want to make sure that you have Plotly installed on in your environment. So make sure that you have it installed. So import plotly.express as px. Then let's plot a sorted country data frame to look at the worst hit countries. Px.scatter, then pass on the data frame. This takes the data frame that you want to use for, like, let's say plot the first 10 countries, and then x equals the country column, use confirmed column as y, size equals confirmed. Size means the radius of the bubble that is going to come here. Then we can enter color equals we're going to use country, change as the colors that we're going to need, and then in case we want to add some interactions, we can mention the hover name, which uses again the country column. Then yeah, you can mention the max size. So size underscore max is that argument, so we can mention like 60 there. So that is it. And let's run fig dot show and see what we get. And this takes a few seconds. So this is the plot that we have. Right, and when you hover over this, you have US confirmed cases 159,000, 100,000, Spain 85,000, so on and so forth. Now we can do some sort of updating to the layout, so you can do a bunch of stuff. So for that you have fig dot update underscore layout function. So you can do a bunch of stuff with annotation, legends, and title, labels, and all those things, and the width and height of the plot. So I'm going to leave it to you how you want to use this. Let's move on to the next graph. So for the next graph, I want to look at each country and how the confirmed and death cases are increasing for that particular country. So I'm going to be using Plotly again. So I'm going to use this example from the documentation, Python line charts, and for this I'm going to need this this graph objects class inside the Plotly module. So let me quickly paste it here. All right, so this is the module that I'm going to need. So I'm going to be using this skater trace here. So let's get started. So first of all, I want to create labels. So I'm plotting confirmed cases and death cases. So, and accordingly I want to set the colors as well. So let's say blue. You can also set hexadecimal codes here, blue and red. Then mode size that you can mention, which is, let's say, 6,8, line underscore size. All right, 4,5. Then I'm going to be using confirmed underscore df and death underscore df as I want to look through. So I'm creating a list of these two data frames, confirmed df and let's say death df. Then I'm going to initialize the figure object. So using go class, go dot figure. So this is my object. All right, then I am going to iterate over I comma df over the data frame list, and okay, use the enumerate function, df underscore pass in the data frame list. All right, then I am going to check if country. Basically I can create a function for this which can, so I can run it for plot cases for a particular country, and this is going to accept the country name. And all right, so this is how it's going to be. So I'm going to run this function to plot for a particular country, and if I want to look at the entire world cases, so I can do that as well. So let's say if for that, so we're going to handle the case of the world scenario differently. So if, let's say, if country is world, country equals world, then x underscore data. So if you see, it captures x data, y data in arrays, so we're going to provide it in that particular format. Let's prepare the x data np.array, pass in the list of df. So this is basically this object. So for that particular, it's going to run for confirmed first and then for death, doing the same thing. So df.ilock, and use the ilock, and then I want to look at all the columns after, let's say, fifth, because after fifth column I'm getting all, so after fifth column I'm getting all the dates. Before that I have lat long, so I want to skip all those columns, then dot columns, and that's it. And then for y underscore data, here I am going to need the sum of all. If it's the world, then I want to use sum np dot array, then this is as array, and pass in again df dot ilock, and use all the columns, and then comma, let's say fifth, mention I want to sum up all the rows, so access equals 0, and if it's the country that I have mentioned, then that would be simply dot columns, and y underscore data is equal to np dot sum. Y is going to be the sum of all the cases, so np dot as array df country equal to country that I have provided, then capture again all the column, all the rows after, let's say, the fifth column, and access. All right, then I need to add underscore trace, so this is where I start plotting. Add underscore trace, and then I need to provide go dot scatter, then pass in x equals x underscore data, y equals y underscore data, mode equals line plus markers, so I'm going to use line as well as markers, comma, I'm going to use name equals labels I, so I'm going to use the labels as name, and use line equals dect, so this is the same that they are using. Then simply copy this and paste this as it is. Now the next thing that I want to add is connect gaps equals true, so this is going to connect all the gaps. Now next I want to add is some text equals let's say total space labels, total confirmed cases or total death cases, so we can mention that accordingly. I want to look at the last value, which is the basically the 29th March data. So that's it. I think we can again add some update layouts. So first let's see what we have after running this. So let's run the function plot cases for country. Let's say we want to plot for US. Let's see what this returns. So I have got this error, enumerate for I, df in x, okay, y equals y data. All right, let's see if this runs. I've got this another array, lines plus markers. So you can see that I have got these. So I need to get this fig.show outside of the for loop. Now when I run this, I get the plots. So I have, these are the confirmed cases. As you can see here, the tooltip gives you all the information about the confirmed cases, and this is for US that I'm running. And in case I want to change it for, let's say, China, and run this, so this is the curve for China. Let's try to make this interactive. So we're going to need the IPy widgets. So let's copy this here, this thing, and put this at the top. So let's say this is here, put this at the top and run this. All right, now we have IPy widgets in our space. So what we are trying to do is, so we have to mention the name of the country to get the plot. Other thing that we can do is we can use this example of interact. So let's copy this from here, and what we can do is we can have a text box kind of thing here where I need to mention which country I want the plot for. So you have to mention the function that you want to use, and this is the default value that your function takes. So basically when I'm going to run this, this is going to show me a text box here, and it's going to plot for the world by default. So I'm commenting out this line. So from now on we're going to use the interact. So let's run this. And okay, yeah, so the argument that our function takes is country, so we're going to change that. So yeah, so this is for the world. So this is the graph, what it looks like for the world right now. And as you're going to change it and add US, so this is the graph for US. So this is basically how you can add some interactivity in your notebook, and this would reflect in your dashboard later on. So next we're going to plot the confirmed cases as well as the death cases on a world map, and we're going to use Folium for that. So this Folium package is, it makes it easy to visualize data that's been manipulated in Python, and it basically helps you visualize on an interactive leaflet map, and works well. I'm going to use this example right here. So we're going to use these circles to position the data, and let's see how we can do that. So firstly I'm going to have to import Folium, so let's do that quickly. So make sure that you install it first in your environment. I have it already installed, so import Folium is done. Now let's create a world map. So world map equals Folium dot map. You can refer to the documentation. So it takes a location from which it starts. So this is for the top view. Okay, they have different kind of maps, different tiles. So I'm using this Kato DB positron tile. Then I can mention the zoom start level, which is set to 2. Then I can also set maximum zoom, which is, let's say, 6. Then I can mention also the min zoom, let's say 2. All right, so this is my world map object that has been created. Now I need to plot the data for all the cases in my confirmed cases data frame. So let's say for I in range length of my confirmed df. All right, then I want to create all those circles. So folium.circle. Then I need to add location. The location will be an array, a list, that is confirmed underscore df dot iloc, and I can use this I for each state, province, country. I need to access the latitude column here, and after that I need to access the longitude as well. Then again I want to add the fill equals true, that is fill the values. Okay, then fill color all the circles should be filled. Fill color, I can mention blue. All right, and then I can mention the color of the circle, which is, let's say, red. Then I can, yep, let's say this is it. Then I can mention dot add underscore 2, mention the object, and then look at your object. Also, let's add the radius of the circle, so that can be integer. So that's a formula that I'm picking, np.log confirm df dot ilog for each row. For the last value, using the last value, the latest value, add 1.0001 and using log, and then into 50,000. So that's the radius level that I've chosen for each. Now if I run this, I've got an error here. Okay, add the comma, run this. Alright, so this is the kind of graph that you're going to get on a world map. So we can add some more interactive properties to this. You have an option to add a tooltip which you can use. So I have this created already, so let me just use that. So this is the one that I'm using. So I'm mentioning all the confirmed cases and death cases, and also the death rate of each country. So when I run this now, gives me a plot where I have added some interactivity to this. So I can now look at the confirmed cases, death cases, and the death rate by hovering over that particular area. So I've added some styling as well. So next, now that we have these plots ready, we can now create a dashboard out of it. Now to convert this Jupyter Notebook into a dashboard or a standalone web application, you need Voila. Now Voila turns Jupyter Notebooks into standalone web application, supports Jupyter interactive widgets that we've used, IPy widgets, and it does not permit arbitrary code execution by consumers of the dashboard. It's built upon Jupyter standard protocols. We can also make use of certain templates to make the dashboard look more attractive. And the simple thing that you need to do is use the Voila command. So firstly, you should make sure that you have it installed on your machine. I have it installed, so you can use the conda command as well. And I have it installed. All I need to do is type in Voila and then the name of my notebook, the path to the notebook. So and then path is dswh COVID-19 underscore analysis dot ipynb. So when I hit this, it's going to create the dashboard. It's going to execute all the cells and create a new localhost server where it is going to render every cell output. And we had a lot of these head cells, so it's going to render the data frames as well, but we don't want them in the, we might or might not want them in the dashboard. So we're going to see how the dashboard turns out. So it takes a few seconds, and as it executes all the cells of the notebook. So this is particularly what the dashboard really looks like, and we have all the cells run. So these graphs didn't load. We'll have to debug these, and this is the world graph. And if I want to change it for US, so this is like real time, and it checks, and this is the data for your US, and this is the world map that we have. So you can see this is all working fine. Now we need to remove all these head cells, comment these out, add some markdown, so that markdown would work as the title of the dashboard. I have used the material templates. So once you have cleared all the not required output, you can get your dashboard to look something like this. This is the dashboard that I have created using the same. So I have added some styling and some markdown as well. This image that I've added and to make it look more professional and attractive, I've used the material theme. You can find that on the Voila material. I'll add the link in the description below. I have added interactive input box inside this, so I can mention the number of rows that I want to look at, and I can also mention the number of countries that I want to compare. So this is how it all looks like. And again, this is add some styling, added some update layout. I've added the code in the description so you can take a look. Added a few bar plots. It's the same way that you plotted your bubble charts using Plotly. So these are all interactive. Then at the end I have my world map. So this is how you can create your dashboard out of your Jupyter Notebook. So we saw how we can create some really cool and interactive plots using Folium and Plotly. And we saw how easy it is to create a standalone web application out of your Jupyter Notebook that you can share and use to communicate your results in a much more interactive manner. So I've added the link to the GitHub repository as well as the deployed link of the dashboard that we created. And you can have a look at the code base. And in case you want me to make a video on how to deploy the dashboard on Heroku, I can do that. So just comment down below. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, and also make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on all the upcoming projects that I'm going to be working on. So till then, keep learning data science with Harshit. Cheers.